This one is, of course, Moron Reviews, Creation, Evolution, and of course it's the first CD by Dr. Shelton Smith. You get these at Sword of the Lord. I highly recommend these, because they're very entertaining, and this is just a review. But you will love this, because if you watch Aaron Ra, A-R-O-N-R-A, you watch his Foundation of Falsehoods of Creationism, and please watch his videos, and please get his book, because it is very good. You'll see some of this guy's stuff that he's going to say. Aaron Ra basically destroys it. And one thing that Aaron Ra says, and when you listen to this, you'll notice it's true. You cannot defend creationism by telling the truth. You have to lie, you have to stretch the truth, and things like that. Well, you'll see this in this video. He purposely, now, in my opinion, maybe I'm wrong, but he's going to purposely define evolution wrong. He does not define evolution properly. He believes that evolution has something to do with abiogenesis, which it does not. He gives you a lot of terms that's not true. He also misdefines what a theory is. That's why I mentioned Aaron Ra's Foundation of Falsehood of Creationism, because I believe if you should watch those, I guess it won't matter where I move it, but you can watch those and you'll get an idea. One of the things he tells you, like for example, he took Latin. When he was in college, he took Latin, and his Latin professor would espouse evolution at the first hours, minutes of the class, or whatever the hell. Now, first off, I don't believe that ever happened. Second off, if it did, he's a Latin instructor. He's not going to know about evolution or enough of it. So I seriously, that's one of the reasons why I don't believe it. And where is he going to really be able to tell you? Well, he says he stood up and said, well, where did the protozoa and all the water come from? So the guy says, well, that's just your primitive mind speaking. No. Because then he'll tell you, well, we don't, because they don't know. It's all presumptions and guesses. They don't know where the water comes from and protozoa. First off, no one said that, we all evolved from a protozoa. That's not true. Protozoa did not exist way back when. And of course, he misdefines what a prokaryote and metakaryote. I don't know what a metakaryote is, but he says it. And the second thing is, there are videos that will explain where the water came from, the accretion, how the earth was formed, how the sun was formed. You can find a lot of videos on YouTube. I will probably, if I can remember, I'll put one of them in the description. If I don't, they're in the like, my like thingy. And he mentions Dwayne Gish and what's that guy's name again? Russell Doolittle. They had a debate at a Christian college. And so, well, Russell Doolittle admitted that he lost against Dwayne Gish. First off, everybody, if you watch all these other programs, they'll tell you do not debate a creationist at a Christian college because they're unethical. A true debate, you do, and this is where you get there. Gish Gallup, Dwayne Gish Gallup, and he's actually supporting this Gish Gallup. Basically, you say a lot of things that are wrong, and you ask a lot of questions that really make no real sense, but to the people listening, they do. That they have to spend their time correcting you, so they do not have the time forming their argument. It's called a Gish Gallup. And if I remember, and I should, I'll put part 1 of their debate in the discussion session. You can find the second one, and you can find it in there. And he mentioned, and then of course he gives you a bunch of quotes about people who don't support evolution and all this stuff. He doesn't tell you who the quotes are from, except for one person. Most of the stuff he's going to tell you, if you listen to this video, is wrong. I took evolutionary biology, I have a degree in molecular biology and biochemistry, and I can tell you that this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. And you see that word doctor, you should really look, a lot of these preachers, you should really look where they get that term doctor from. They certainly aren't scientists, and there's nothing more funny, not ha-ha funny, but frustrating funny, than somebody who knows nothing about science, never took a course in science, doesn't really understand science, and then they want to preach against it. Of course, they don't support evolution or anything, but whenever science supports their false belief, they believe it. And of course, he'll tell you certain things in the Bible that was proven true after afterwards, they didn't believe, they believed this and that, and then all of a sudden, but the Bible said this, and centuries later, scientists found that was true. Yeah, after the fact. And besides, some of the circle is round. The Bible says the circle is round. And they found that after the fact. Go to the BibleSkeptic.com. Also, a circle. This CD is a circle. Basically, the disc is a circle. You notice how it's flat? Because a circle is flat. A sphere is not. And the earth is not egg-shaped. It's an oblong spheroid. And of course, he'll tell you it's egg-shaped. And this is just the first one. This is not part 2 and part 3, which we'll do next week. It's hilarious. I personally believe he's purposely being, lying and misrepresenting evolution to support his creationism. I just believe that. And of course, evolution is atheism. Again, foundational falsehoods of creationism. And then, of course, Charles Darwin recanted on his deathbed. It was just musings of a young man. Yeah, right, Shelton Smith. This is my opinion that he's lying. I'm, stretching the truth. Maybe he really is ignorant. I've heard him preach before, so it's possible. Because I remember him preaching. He told the story that he was in high school, and the English teacher mentioned that, the story of David and Goliath is a fable. So it wasn't true, because everyone knows that the Philistines wore a helmet. And then, of course, he stood up and said, well, if you see a little guy coming to you and you wanted to make fun of him, when you take your helmet off and laugh at him and everything and make sure they see all your facial expressions while you laugh at him. Now, it's amazing. Like somebody once said, people are always the hero in their own stories. And especially these preachers. Sadly, that's true. They're always going to be the hero in their own stories. The only difference between this guy and these preachers, all these preachers, and like you and me, is that if I were to have an argument with someone and I got my ass whipped, but I tell someone that I won, they can go and ask that person. Think about that. Bye.